Hey friends, welcome back to the Called to Lead podcast. So in today's episode, I'm going to be continuing to share some insight around how you can grow your team and specifically how you can grow your team one person at a time, which is really good news whether you have a ton of customers and you've been around the business for a while, maybe you are an online influencer, or maybe you are just getting started in your business and you don't even know where to start or how on earth you're even going to get to that level. Or maybe you're somewhere in the middle where you're trying to kind of balance and figure out what it is that you should do each and every day in order to grow your team and in order to grow your business. Well, today's episode is going to be sharing with you my DMO, which stands for Daily Method of Operation, that I recommend to do every day to grow your business. So I'll explain a little bit more as we dive into today's episode. Get ready. Okay, so before we get into today's episode, I want to share something kind of funny. So a few episodes back, I mentioned that I had a story from a leader at Rodan & Fields named Jody Watkins that I was going to reshare her podcast interview that we did on my first podcast channel called Stories of Light. Well, fun fact, I've actually already shared that here. So I'm going to link her episode here in the show notes. And honestly, if you are looking for that inspiration, someone who was able to start her journey in network marketing years after, I want to say it was 8 years after her company, Rodan & Fields, actually got started, she was able to build a massive business with over 20,000 teamies. And that was 2 years ago. So she probably has even more now. And make a life-changing business by honoring her relationship with the Lord first and allowing Him to equip her one person at a time to achieve dreams far beyond what she could imagine. So I definitely want to drop that episode here again for you, and I won't replay it for this week's episode. I figured I would bring you a brand new episode instead, since you might have already heard it, since I've already shared it here on the Call to Lead podcast. But I wanted to start there because Jody's example is a beautiful one that will be so inspiring to you. So you might be thinking, okay, that's great that worked for her. And that's great that you've had such great success in your business, Heather, but tell me how to do this. Tell me specifically what it is that I should do every single day in order to grow my business. And so that's what we're going to chat about. This is what I recommend doing, and this is what I do myself in my business in order to grow my team. And I want to share some kind of backstory as I go into this, and because it is going to be kind of simple, but that's what it takes. And my team name is actually Keep It Simple Sister. And I have over, I think around 4,200 or so teamies all across the US and Canada. Only about, I think it's 56 of those are directly enrolled to me. And I've been an artist with Saint for 6.5 years, which means that I've probably enrolled about 100 people directly to me. And through, circumstances, not all of them are still here. So give or take, I have enrolled on average about maybe 1.3 teamies each month on average since I started my business. So I don't think I've ever been on any kind of list as a top enroller. I don't know, there have only been a few months where I have enrolled more than 2 people. And so I say all this to encourage you that what I'm going to share with you, which is basically just growing your team one person at a time and doing a little bit each day towards that goal, it can help you build a massive business little by little, which is actually a biblical principle in and of itself. So I am really excited to share with you what it is that has worked for me, and that is my daily method of operation. So it's 4 steps, 4 things that you can do every day, and they are things that will take you, honestly, as little as 15 minutes a day to sometimes, depending on the circumstances and situation, it can take a few hours a day. But work with the time that you have. When I first started my business, I was working more than full time at my boutique in the midst of the craziest busy season. And this might not have been like exactly what I was trying to do, but it was maybe all I could do in each day. And so for that reason, I kind of realized over time that this is kind of systemically the way that I run my business, and the way that I can know that at the end of the day, when I go to sleep, that I can know if I've done one of each of these 4 things that I'm going to share with you, then I can know that I've done everything that I can and everything that the Lord wants me to do in that given day in order to pursue and walk in this dream that He's put on my heart in terms of doing this business. So y'all ready? So, step one is actually something that I learned at church as a prayer that the Lord will always answer. And so, for those of you guys who are believers, I know you'll love this first one. So, step one for your DMO is to say the prayer, Lord, who is one person that I can show your love to today? So, what does this have to do with your business? Well, if you've listened to this podcast for any minute of time, you know that in order to build a successful business, the foundational element is with your relationship with the Lord, but it's also in terms of how you can serve his kingdom through everything that you're doing. So, this is essentially handing over your business as a ministry that he can then use to bless and serve other people. And when you do that, I promise you, as my pastor said, this is a prayer that he will always answer. Might not always be easy. And honestly, sometimes love can come in the form of tough conversations or tough love. I know my mentor, Bob Heilig, says that tough love isn't tough, it's just love. And so whether it's carefrontation or whether it's encouragement or whether it's just cheering someone on, if you can be the example of Jesus from the Bible, he was the balance of truth and love, right? So you're being honest and holding people accountable to how they can grow in this business and maybe some things that they can do a little differently, but you're loving them right where they are. You know that was something we talked about a couple episodes back, that if you want to encourage your team the most, if you want to build a big, massive team, you've got to love them right where they are. And so that balance of truth and love and starting your foundation of, Lord, just give me one person that I can show your love to today. I can promise you that not only will your business be fulfilled in doing that, but so will your life. And it is a game changer. And I definitely encourage, if you have not ever say that prayer, it's something that, again, it doesn't take any time. You can do it while you're driving to kid drop off. You can certainly do it in your morning time. But this takes like 2 minutes to say that prayer, and then watch how the Lord shows up and watch who he puts in your life, because he will. He's going to put some person. And if you've already got it on your mind that you're there for a purpose or a reason to serve somebody else in that way, it's going to change the dynamic of that conversation, and it's going to change the dynamic of your day, okay? So that's step one, is who is one person that I can show your love to today, meaning the love of Christ to today. The second one is who is one teamie or partner. If you don't yet have teamies, maybe it's your upline, maybe it's a sideline that you've connected with in one of your team chats, but who is one teamie that I can encourage today? So we already talked about how becoming a professional cheerleader is going to be one of those principles that is going to help you grow your business, because essentially pouring into others and helping them achieve your goals, even if they're not on your team, is what's going to help you in turn grow your business. And so when you just think of the one, who is one person who has a goal that I can help them reach today? Who is one person that I maybe haven't talked to in a minute that I need to share some, just love with today? Who is the one person? It can be really overwhelming if you do have maybe a bunch of teamies, you can think like, oh gosh, I don't have the time to connect with everyone. You don't have to connect with everyone. If you do this thing every day, that's 30 teamies in 1 month. And of course you can do more. This is the kind of baseline, right? So like, again, if you've got like me, 50 or 60 teamies, it might be 2 a day. But I know that not all of those leaders or not all of those artists on my team necessarily need to hear from me every single day. But when I say this little prayer, or when I start my day with this intention, and you can literally write it down, who is the one teamie that I need to pour some love or encouragement on today, I can promise you that your words and your heart and your cheering them on can be the difference maker to take them to the next level in their business, which is going to make you feel really good. And if they are on your team, guess what? Them growing is, again, what's going to help you grow and be able to build a business. So this is obviously especially important if you already have a team, but even if you don't, this practice of being able to pour into and serve others is going to serve you so well. And again, this is one that works in life and in business. So keep that in mind. Okay, so the next one is, who is one customer that I can check in with today and connect with today? So this is someone who has already purchased from you. If you are just getting started in your business, this is one you can save in your pocket for when you do have customers. And this is something that if you get in the rhythm or the habit, again, it can be really overwhelming if you have a lot of customers or you don't know where to start, or maybe you get in your head about being pushy with your customers. It's not being pushy if your motivation and your intention is coming to check in with them and just see how they're doing. So now, you guys know how much I love a good automation. And this is something that I actually have worked into my customer follow-up automation system. That's actually part of my Automate to Replicate course that has a waiting list right now. So you can go to heatherkburge.com/automate if you want the scoop on when I'm going to be relaunching that this fall. But in my automated customer follow-up, I have a very, very simple question that I ask my customers about 2 weeks after they get their product. And that is, hi, first name. And the program I use, Project Broadcast, it knows their first name. And it says, I just wanted to check in and see how you're liking the makeup so far. So it's just a really simple question. It's not assuming anything. It's not pushing them into anything. It's just checking in with them, right? And so they're going to respond. Well, if they respond, which not everybody responds, and that's okay. But if they respond, it's probably going to be one or two things. It's going to be, oh my goodness, I'm absolutely loving it. I am so glad that I found this makeup, or something to that effect, where they are really happy. They're a happy customer. Well, guess what? From a couple episodes back again, when I talked about automations being important, but they have to be the kind of catalyst for the connection, if that makes sense. I can then see that customer's response. And when I spend maybe, I would say probably 30 minutes a day checking in with my messages on my Project Broadcast account, I can then respond to her directly with exactly what she's saying. I also have a few saved templates in there as well to kind of get me started that just say something along the lines of, yay, I'm so excited that you are loving the makeup as much as I do. I would love for you to send me over a before and after if you have time and think about it. And so what I'm doing here is, number one, I'm checking to make sure that everything, that we truly did get the right colors, or that I don't have some feedback or love, right? Some tough love to share, maybe to say, hey, just, go a little heavy on the contour, or actually that looks a little light, whatever it is. I can actually make sure that it looks great. But the bonus thing about this is if that customer responds and they send a before and after, I can then invite them to do two more things and kind of engage them in the next step in that process, which is I can invite them to be a hostess. Our company has an awesome opportunity for raving fans to earn hostess rewards, is what we call them basically, where they get tons of free product, up to $500 in free makeup, just for sharing the link with their friends. So they don't even have to become a distributor. So I kind of use my judgment based on the person, how well I know them. If they are a dream teamie, I might skip to option 2. But this is a great kind of middle point that's less scary to ask them, hey, would you want to maybe post that before and after on social media? I know it can be really scary, or even share it with a few friends individually, because I can set you up a private link where if anyone does decide to order, you can get hundreds of dollars in free product. Is that something that you would be interested in learning more about? And so basically what you're doing is offering them more things for free of something they've already told you they love. So it's not being pushy. It's not making it about you, like, hey, can you help me out? It's making it about them because you are giving them an option to get something for free, right? So this is a great way to kind of systematize that connection piece with that question. And again, if you don't yet have automation set up in your business, that can be what you do when you're sitting down to do your daily method of operation, is just shoot over a text message, checking in with your customer. And again, if they respond, you can kind of take that conversation to the next level. So the second way that I like to respond to someone who actually does send over their before and after is, most of the time I'll just say, oh my goodness, you look so beautiful. Have you ever thought about being an artist? Because you could totally crush it. And honestly, posting that picture would be the very first step. Is this something that you've thought about at all? And so again, I'm not being pushy with them. I'm literally asking them a question, which is this something that you've thought about doing? And I'm being honest with them about it, because I know I can literally see the picture that they're sending me, and I know that they've done half the battle, right? Like if they've got, and maybe they send, 2 different pictures, right? You can share. I use the layout app. It's a totally free app to put them together. So you can still give them a little bit of coaching and instruction if it's not quite exactly what you would post. But they've done half the battle of taking that before and after. They've also shown that they are coachable by doing exactly what you asked of them, which is what you're going to want in a dream teamie or somebody that joins your team, is somebody who's going to like take the leap on what it is that you're asking them to do. And so if your customer actually does this and she kind of follows that next step, you can know that even if you don't know her well, even if it's somebody that you just met online or randomly found you from your Instagram channel, you can know that this person has potential to do really big things in their business. And you should just tell them that. And it's that first little step of the second step or the third step in the DMO, which is, who is one customer I can check in with today? Okay, hopefully that makes sense. That's an important one. And then the last one. So this is the last step. You can see this is actually even going to be a quick episode for me. It really doesn't take a lot of time to do this, you guys. And it can be some of the most impactful time that you spend in your business if you just do these 4 things every day. And the last one is, who is one dream customer that I can intentionally connect with? So there's a lot of different ways you can go about doing this. You can go down your phone list if maybe you're just getting started and you might not have a big following. If you're trying to grow your business online, you can legit just scroll down your text messages and you can shoot someone a message and just say, hey, Susie, I don't know if you saw, because hopefully at this point you've already been sharing publicly about what it is that you're doing, but I recently partnered with company XYZ and I can't help but feel like you might love it. Or you can say, I really need to practice and get some feedback as I'm growing this journey. Or whatever it is, you can basically just be honest with where you are in your business right then. And you can say, if I were, are you available this weekend to maybe get together to play makeup or to let me share this with you or show this to you? Or if they're not local, you can say, if I were to send you a quick little video that kind of shares a little bit more information about it, would you have time to take a peek and let me know what you think? So again, you're not asking them to buy anything from you. You're asking for their feedback and asking them specifically if they've seen what it is that you're doing. And I realize this can definitely be a scary one because it can kind of seem like a cold reach out. And you want to be really careful in how you do it, where you're not sending some copy and paste message. You're not saying exactly the same thing to every single person that you do this with. I want you to intentionally think, what is my relationship with this person? What is maybe the next conversation that needs to happen? And in some cases, it might be, catching up for a second. In some cases, you're going to need to just come right out and just flat out ask them, right? So use your judgment, use your discernment, and just be bold in how you start the conversation. But essentially, this is just connecting intentionally with someone that you really would love to try your product. And in turn, in a dream world, you might want to have them join you in business. So you can also, like, for example, if you maybe are having an online class, or if you have started a private Facebook group, or a public Facebook group or private, whatever it is, where you are serving your customers, you can maybe do this by shooting them a message and inviting them to be a part of that community. So again, you're not mass adding them by hitting that invite button into the group. You're taking the time to individually connect with them and just ask them if they'd have any interest in, being a part of whatever it is that you're doing or that next step that you're doing. Maybe your team is having an event, or if you're not having an event and you want to think about doing something like this, you can encourage your team to do this exact same DMO and connect with one person each day to invite them to whatever team bash, team event that you're doing. There's a million things that you can invite them to. And also in my Automate to Replicate course, I walk you through my dream teamie funnel, which actually, come to think of it, you guys will have to let me know either on Instagram or in the Called to Lead community. And you can text the word podcast to my business cell, 912-405-8912. But I've thought about doing that separate dream teamie kind of funnel as a little separate offering. So if you want to find out more information about that, just text me, and it might be something that I can offer even outside of the automations course that I that I'm going to be relaunching this fall, because I really do think the principles in terms of the strategies that I teach in there and the spreadsheet that comes with it, that's easy. I promise, I know I might be a spreadsheet nerd and not everybody is, but this is something that is very, very simple and something anybody can use. So if that's something you're interested in, just shoot me over a text message. You could also email me if that's more your thing at heatherkburge@gmail.com, and let me know if that sounds like something you might be interested in learning more about, okay? So this last step in your DMO, your daily method of operation, is going to be, who is the one dream customer or dream teamie that's not yet a customer that I can intentionally connect with today? And y'all, that's all it takes. I know you might have heard from some other leaders and other companies, and not that but these are wrong. They may say, like, message 10 people, or like 3, 2, 1, and all of these different things. And while that can be great, I think it can also be really overwhelming to people when they feel like they have to do this over and over and over again, or they don't even know when they're going to find the time to do it. But when you break it down to the one person that you can encourage, the one person that you can help get to that next rank, the one person that you can connect with intentionally to start that conversation, when you think about it, just the one person, it makes it seem so simple, so doable. And as I've shared in my experience, you absolutely can build a long-term lasting legacy business by doing this method. So I hope this was helpful today. It definitely has been helpful for me, and I'm excited to continue the conversation and the journey that we're on in terms of growing our businesses together. So thanks again, and y'all have a great day.